What is up, YouTube? Brody here again, back out of a session. Wanted to talk to you guys about what I did today. I had a session with the artist Ghost Daughter. Really cool artist, kind of has like a dark alternative indie shoegaze adjacent kind of thing. We both come from similar worlds of like emo rap. I think as artists we have a lot of similar approaches to writing, so I've really been having fun collaborating with them recently. This song was really fun. I was really inspired by like 90s 2000s industrial kind of music, ambient. Akira Yamaoka, who produced a lot of the Silent Hill soundtracks, a lot of that kind of style has been up my alley recently. And when I started the session with Ghost Daughter, the first thing that we had talked about musically was that they started recording like Foley, like just sounds around them. Their radiator was really loud overnight and they turned on voice memos and recorded it. And that wound up being like the start of like the sound bed for this. Once they mentioned that, that's where the gears started turning for me, thinking about all the ambient textural stuff I've been listening to and how we could combine that. So essentially we took that as the base, built up a giant soundscape before we'd even written any music, and then we started to build a song within that world that we had built, and I think it turned out really cool. I want to go ahead and show you, I'll show you a little bit of the radiator noise, and then I'll show you the final product and then how we got there. So starts off extremely simple, literally just this like screeching noise. It was mono, I made it a little more stereo. You can hear the like weird breathing of it, the hissing, some low end stuff coming in here and there. Basically white noise, but there's enough texture to it and enough like sentimental value to Ghost Daughter, considering it's from their room. I thought it was really cool to start with that kind of sound. And where we wound up was this. I'll play like a verse. I'll play a little bit of like verse and chorus to show you guys. As the song goes on, it builds up to a bigger hook section. I love how it turned out. I love all of the weird tones, all of the like ambience and textures within this. I think it turned out really cool. I guess I'll show how we get there to start. So we have that radiator going on. The next thing I did, let's see, go through some other layers. So we had that. I added some ambience here. I'll show again kind of what's happening. I think the first one I recorded was this one. Yeah. To add to the noise of the radiator, when I turned the distortion pedal on my amp, it created some noise, just like even while the guitar was off. And I thought it was a really nice sound. So I just recorded that because I liked kind of like the claustrophobic kind of thing of that just in the center. You got that radiator. Another pad, this time with the infinite reverb on my reverb pedal. I played some notes, let them sustain, and then captured the reverb tail to do this. kind of starting to build a world, I think. There's this sound effect in my drum kit, my most recent drum kit, called the Shatter Glass Ambience, that I'll put in the background of things a lot with some digitalis. You can hear it in that start, like the weird wide, like glass shattering, slowed down kind of sound. I just think it's another nice Foley thing. From there, some acoustic guitar stuff. I recorded a like strum of a chord. And then processed it a bit. I recorded it, I stretched it out, and then on one side, I recorded it left and right, and on one side I reversed it. That way it does this thing where it attacks here, and then dies, and then swells into the other side. It's kind of like a panning type effect. Plus, you can hear a lot of the sound of like my hands moving on the guitar, a lot more like Foley. I intentionally played a lot of parts on this song sloppy or with room noise to add to this effect of like placing it in a room, like a space. Just another layer with some reverse reverb. I processed it all through some compression and distortion just to like dirty it up, just to make it like dusty sounding almost. That was kind of the goal. From that, the next thing in the intro is the bass guitar. There's an electric bass on the like band sections of the song, but on the more ambient sections, I took my acoustic guitar, played it, pitch shifted it an octave down, and then got this sound. It kind of sounds like an upright bass. But then I also distorted and compressed it. Lastly, the drums, which I'll get into more detail in a bit, I reversed for this section. They're fading in. I think it adds to the kind of like surreal, like uneasiness. I think that's the thing that I like a lot about the Silent Hill soundtracks and Akira Yamaoka's work, is the like, exactly like I said, like the surreal factor to it, the like otherworldly kind of sound that he gets, which I think is really interesting because he uses, aside from some synth pads, which are also kind of vintagey sounding synths, it's a lot of like dated sounds. Like he's not playing things that sound futuristic or overly trippy, but they give this otherworldly kind of sound to it. And I really wanted to try to draw from that with this song. From there, we hit the verse, and that's where the main guitar comes in. I love that guitar tone. One of my favorite clean tones as of late. Processing in the DAW, really just soothe and a little bit of EQ. That is this, behind me, this red and black guitar here. Old Tysco guitar from the 60s. And then I used the UA Dream 65 pedal. It's like a deluxe reverb amp sim for the clean tone. I've been using that a lot, and it's really nice. You can drive it and get some really nice high gainy sounds, or you can really clean it up. And I think that this is nice. I ran it through that, and I think a compressor pedal on my board. And it's just the nicest, like, sustainy, clean, but like a hint of breakup on the top end. Like, I don't know. I think sometimes I used to not be a fan of clean tones as much that were just pretty bare bones like this because I thought they were too sterile. But I think that these Fender cleans have this like these harmonics and this sustain to it that just sound really nice. Like, that's just interesting. And then the guitar that I'm using is pretty old. It's got like a 1960s pickup in it, really noisy, and like kind of something you can't avoid with single coils. but I think that noise just like adds to the depth of this song. We also have in the verse is this lead, you would call it. It started off from same guitar and amp with an extra reverb pedal that I had. I turned the tone knob all the way down and distorted it a little bit more to give it some weird like background feeling, like it's kind of way back. But then I wanted it to sound more like otherworldly, so I did some effects to it. I added some little altar void, octave up. I love the artifacts that you get from Little Altar Boy. I have like the warbling on the sides, some delay, some reverb. And I think that's a really nice lead that's like reminiscent of a guitar, but kind of has become its own thing. All right, now we'll get to where the bass and the drums kick in. So hook 1, it sounds like this. I love the sound of that. It's such a grooving, like driving, like slow but like persistent kind of feeling. Like it kind of, to me, it gives the idea that the person is like slowly but steadily like trudging forward through something difficult, but like not giving up, you know? Like it has this sad kind of feel to it, but in like a tough way, like a confident, like empowering way almost. I love figuring out like the exactness of an emotion that I'm feeling when I'm writing. And that's kind of what this drum and bass line does to the otherwise kind of hopeless sound that's going on here. The bass line I recorded with my P bass. It's a Dean P bass that I put a Seymour quarter pounder in the bridge for. It was really nice, like low endy, low mid tone. I double tracked it. Well, didn't double track it. I recorded it once, and I split the signal, and one half is going through the Fender Dream pedal for a little bit of the like ampy sound, and then the other side is going into an amp sim for a bass amp. So this is it into the Fender, and then this is it. This is it into an Ampeg bass sim 1176. Then together, I love the spring reverb on the Fender side. It's a really nice sound. Gluing it together with some compression and catching some spikes. Really love that sound. And then later on, as the song gets big, towards the end when there's the distorted guitars coming in, I turn on a drive on the amp side. It's really clippy, really weird. That bass really does a lot for this song, I think. And as does the drums, which I want to get into here. I think both of those are really, the drum and bass is what adds a ton of attitude to this song, I think. That's such a cool sound. First little things that I want to add is I added this cool percussion thing from the end of the electric bass, acoustic bass thing I did. There was like a part where I slid up on the neck and it really created this like almost like squeaking, like door creaking sound. So I repeated it throughout. I think that's so nice. Then recorded some shaker and tambourine. Then the drums are from Stylus RMX by Spectrasonics. It's the same company that does like Omnisphere and Trillion. They have a drum library as well that I think is super slept on. They're still, it's interesting, they're still updating this drum library, but a ton of the samples and all the processing and the effects to me really sound like they were kind of like stopped being updated in like 2004 or something. Like very 90s, 2000s kind of sound to it. Perfect for like boom bap, industrial, anything of that nature, breakbeat stuff. It's an interesting thing. It's like loop based. So what you do is you go through all these different folders of like drum loops, and you can really edit them almost to the point to where it's MIDI. You can like change you can half time to double time it. You can add swing. You can change this rhythm. You can click in and out notes until it's exactly what you want. Then there's this whole section here where I like pitched it down and did some other filtering things, added some distortion and some compression, and got this sound out of it. That I programmed within the plugin and then just dragged the MIDI in here. The only thing I did was repeat this hit because I wanted it to hit twice on that section. But yeah, I think I definitely recommend checking out Stylus RMX. Really cool loop system, super robust. On this one drum fill, I added a little bit of a fun thing to it, which is another interesting thought about using it for breakbeat, is doing some like chopping of it. So I took this like cymbal and re-triggered it really fast. Layered some kicks and snares. Then I have the reversed layered in just for some like extra ear candy. Outside of the processing within the plugin, I do some EQ, some soothe. I use Smack Attack because it's a transient shaper. I liked the coloring of the limiter within Stylus, but I felt that it cut the transients too much, so I just brought some back in with that. But yeah, I really love this plugin. I think it's awesome. Let's see. From there, what else do we have new that we haven't gotten into? We have this. Yeah, okay. So to get there, I'm gonna go here first. For the big climactic, like biggest hook, is when I turn on the distorted bass, and then I also add a layer on top of the guitar that we already heard. This one's a strummed version. I added a very distorted version. I think I turned on my Rat pedal before the Fender. Very fuzzy. Some reverb. I love those tones that are super distorted, but like far in the back. Like it's almost more ambient and also more metal leaning than like a shoegaze guitar tone. Kind of more adjacent to like black metal to my ears, but still all within that same world. But I did that for the biggest hook. But in the middle hook, I took the same one. I took that same guitar and really verbed it out and made it sound kind of spacey and weird and not the Fool format. It almost sounds more like a spacey like pad at that point. But yeah, that's it. That's essentially the song. It looks like I went through every layer here. I really love how this came together. I really loved the idea of like starting from something sentimental and like as simple as just like a recording of your loud radiator in your house, and kind of letting that inspire you. I think that really set the tone and led to the decisions that were made to build the ambience of the song, which then led me to the writing decisions, the melodic decisions, the chord changes, the drums that we had chosen. I don't know. I'm always about trying to find new interesting ways to have that initial like light bulb idea to inspire you and inspire a song. And I think this was a really good practice in that. It wound up being one of my favorite things I've written recently. Very excited to see how this turns into a full song. But yeah, if you made it this far in the video, thank you as always. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I'm hoping to have some cool videos soon. I have a new amp on the way that should be here and sitting on this shelf within the next couple of days. So hopefully I can do another video where I break down something that I wrote with that, or maybe even demo it or something. I don't know. Just kind of spitballing ideas, things for the channel, things to get more people to know that this is happening and spread the good word. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. This was a lot of fun. I hope you like how this sounded. Any questions, any comments, whatever, let me know. Let me know down below. And with that all being said, peace out.